Hey everyone, Jason at Hard Money Bankers. Since we are having an upcoming workshop, I figured it makes sense to give everyone the hard money business outline. There's been a lot of people that have asked exactly what we're doing at the workshop. So let's go through it. This is the hard money business outline that we do with some of our consulting clients. And obviously, I can go in as many details as possible. For the purpose of this video, I'm going to just go through it pretty quickly so you have an understanding. But most of the consulting that we do is very tailored to everyone's individual needs. Sometimes people have a lot of cash that they need to deploy, but they need borrowers. On the other side, a lot of people have a lot of borrowers that opportunities that they have, but they need to raise the capital. So I'm going to go through all of this. We like to tailor all of these individually and kind of in our group setting to make sure everyone's getting the biggest bang for their buck. So let's go through this real quick. I'm going to try to hide this myself real quick while we go through it or minimize it. So obviously the who, what, where, when, how of hard money, pretty simple. I think everyone knows how hard money loans work and how private lending works. It's pretty simple, surprisingly pretty simple of a business model for something that's super profitable, because you can make the rules on how you want to set up your own investment vehicle, how you want to set up your loan platforms and your loan guidelines. But for the most part, go through exactly how hard money works, how hard money loans are structured, the best types of borrowers, the best types of private capital investors, and things like that. Why is hard money lending a great business model and can be profitable for anyone? This business model has been around for a long time. Lending money, be in the bank, is such a powerful thing. If you're a real estate investor and you're flipping a house, it's a lot of hard work. You're doing all the heavy lifting. You're doing all the hard work. You're taking on all the risk. On the lender's side, it's more passive. You make a good underwriting decision on the front end. You lend the money out and you collect it passively. And if there's a lot of issues with contractors or other things, you don't really see that much. Obviously, if a deal goes super bad, you got to mitigate that. But for the most part, it's a little bit more passive, which makes it nice. There's a few different ways you can make money. You can broker loans, which is obviously limited because you only make money on the front end. You can lend other people's money. You can fund loans yourself. You can do joint ventures with people. Again, the sky's the limit. You can figure it out yourself. And we're going to go through all of these and figure out which one's best for you. There's very low overhead in this type of business model. As you grow and you take on payroll and salaries and employees and additional marketing expenses, it's fine. But starting out, a little bit of money for marketing, some basic tech stuff really can get you as far as you need. Low risk, high reward. Long-term passive and residual income, which is obviously nice. What do I need to do to become a hard money lender? Now, there's three key things, obviously. You need access to deals, you need access to money, and you need access to a system or a structure. And this is the stuff that we spend a lot of time on in our workshop. Marketing is so important. It's so important. If you don't have access to deals and you don't have proper deal flow, the rest isn't going to come together. And let me tell you, until you have access to deals and market to find an opportunity, it's hard to raise capital as well, because a capital investor is going to say, sure, I'm happy to be involved in your business model. Let me know what kind of deals you're working on. So you need to have access to deals as well. So we're going to go through all of that. One thing that we do here, as you can probably tell, is we're super passionate about marketing. We do a lot of internet marketing, online marketing, offline marketing, boots on the ground marketing, all kinds of stuff. So we're going to go step by step through every one of our marketing campaigns. This typically, like, marketing for deals and money for that matter, is usually the first full day of the workshop, because there's so much important stuff to market. And if you've never done any of this stuff before, we do one-on-one stuff all the way up to advanced stuff. So we do dozens and dozens of different things. And what we work with you on is figuring out what works, a few key ones that you're comfortable doing, and start with those marketing campaigns before you expand. So all kinds of internet marketing between Google and Facebook and all the social platforms, search ads, display ads, opt-ins, funnels, websites, emails, all kinds of different stuff. A lot of this stuff is actually pretty easy, after you learn it, and it's not all that hard to learn. Local boots on the ground stuff, going to meetup groups, RIA groups, going to auctions, going into maybe brokers' offices, things like that. We'll go through all that. Setting up a network of referral sources, brokers, real estate agents, other real estate investors, business bankers, title companies, other hard money lenders. Other hard money lenders is so key, because let me tell you, there could be two hard money lenders in the same town, but they have different appetites of what types of deals each one wants. We're always passing deals back and forth with other hard money lenders. It's a good setup. Set up your good funnel system. So when deals do come in the door, when your phone rings, when your email's pinged, when someone walks in your door, when somebody fills out a loan application, what are the next steps? Who's doing that? If you're a one-man operation, I recommend this is a high thing for you to talk to as many people as possible and make sure you really understand and you can pre-qualify and pre-approve some of these people on the front end. But you need to have a good system. If someone calls you, you got to call them back quick. If someone fills out a loan application, you got to reach out to them quick. It's all important stuff. Customer service is huge. As hard money lenders, for the most part, we're the most expensive guys in town to lend money from as a hard money lender. So that's something to think about. Most good borrowers that we do loans for, they're bankable. They have cash. They have private capital. They have lines of credit. They have all kinds of options, and they use us as hard money lenders as well. And so will they with you. So you gotta strive to have really good customer service. We're going to talk about structuring loans, the best way that fits your comfort level of how you want to structure loans. We like to do stuff at 65% based off of the after repair value. Again, that's what works for us. You can do it lower, you can do it higher, but that's what works, and we'll explain exactly why. Setting proper expectations with borrowers, how to follow up with them, automated and manual. One of the things that we do really well at Hard Money Bankers, for instance, is we have different post-contact marketing campaigns. So someone comes in, they filled a loan application, they're getting emails, follow-ups, texts, phone calls from us on a regular basis, even if they're not ready or have a deal at this time. So we're always in front of them. So some of our sales guys that I talk to we're very reactive and not proactive and following up, because we don't really need to be, because we're still going to be in front of them automatically through technology that I'll share with you exactly how we set it up when you get here for the workshop. But if you have a good deal and the borrower just doesn't have you have a good opportunity or a good borrower, they just don't have a deal under contract right now, so there's nothing to do. Yeah, you could follow up with them in 30 days and, hey, reminder, hey, do you have any deals? Any deals? We try to do things via email and other automated ways to try to get them to call back in. So obviously the next thing is access to capital, marketing for money, a lot of different options. Two big things we spend a lot of time on is sticking to your sphere of influence. People in your LinkedIn circles are always a good thing. Start with the people you know and trust who like you first, the smaller group, and then expand on from that. It's always a good way to raise capital. As you can see, there's a bunch of different ways, and we'll go through this. Again, raising capital is from your network. For instance, like I could give you a $100,000 capital investor. That doesn't mean that they'll give you money. You can give me a $100,000 capital investor. It doesn't mean they're going to give me money. It's all very personalized. It's relationship based. So part of this is figuring out what you're comfortable with in order to going out to raise capital. And then we'll work on a strategy or a game plan for you to do it that way. And also one big thing that we always talk about is just personality types and the right type of personality types to go after with capital investors. If it is the wrong capital investor, it's the wrong personality type, they will be a nightmare. Even if they give you money to lend out, they'll be a nightmare and micromanage you. So it's super important to make sure you're working with the right capital investors. A few different lending models: direct placement with private investors, direct capital, tax-free lending through self-directed IRAs, money leveraging banks, mortgage pool investing, institutional capital, all different types of lending models that you need to figure out what works best, and we'll help you figure out what works best for your model. A lot of this workshop is not necessarily like, hey, do it this way. This is why. Like, we're going to share and tell you exactly how our model is set up, and we think it's the best model and it's the best model for us. But that being said, you can structure it kind of accordingly based on what you're comfortable with and what's best for you with some tips. So working with capital investors, investor relation, customer service, education, follow-up. This is the dispersonality profiles I was just talking about. How to process, get the capitals into your account, monthly statements reporting, servicing, setting proper expectations, and communication. We go a little bit, and we're not obviously attorneys, but we'll go in a little bit related to some legal things and potentially refer you to some attorneys that are state specific, depending on if some of the states do have license requirements. The third thing obviously is access to professionals and understand how these deals work. Getting in with attorneys, title companies, appraisers, BPO agents, contractors, home inspectors. I spelled home inspector wrong. Real estate agents, insurance agents. Super important to get them referring deals, get your name on their radar. So we're going to talk a lot about that. A lot of these professionals have helped us a long way. They're service providers, they're referral partners. They go a long way figuring out what entity structure works for your business. We're going to spend some time on underwriting hard money loans. It's something that I do here on a regular basis. That's my high level job. And I would if you have a team inside your organization, I would recommend that the underwriting of the loan is one of the most important things to make sure you're writing a good conservative deal. So I think that's something that you should probably be involved in. Staying organized, breaking through everything in the 4 C's: collateral, character, capacity, credit, making sure there's a proper exit strategy, understanding what documents and forms. And we give you all these documents. We have all these documents, forms. Part of this workshop is just literally copying everything that we have, because we already have it. So all the docs are going to be shared with you, and you put your logo on it and send them out or modify them any way you want. You're going to get access to all that. Third-party resources, mortgagee stuff, understanding surveys, when they need them, appraisals, valuations, title insurance, property abstracts, endorsements, things like that. Having a good attorney, state-specific, that does your loan docs is super important. I know so many private and hard money lenders that do their own loan docs. Don't do your own loan docs. Your borrower pay for the loan docs anyways. Find an attorney who knows that stuff that can help you with that. Making sure you have proper insurance in place for your loans: builder's risk, liability, tenant occupied, vacant. For instance, if somebody's doing construction on a property and you say it's tenant occupied and there's an issue and you have the wrong insurance policy in place, that insurance company isn't going to pay out on that claim. So it's important to know what's what. Setting up loans with borrowers and or guarantors. For instance, let's say your borrower is an entity, so it's ABC LLC, that's the borrower, and then who's personally guaranteeing it could be the members of that entity. Maybe you want the member of the entity and their spouse, depending on if you're a marital state or not. We can go through details on that, the pros and the cons, understanding who's who. Are you going to lend to an LLC? Are you going to lend to an LLC? Are you going to lend to a trust? Are you going to lend to an individual borrower? Maybe even lend to a self-directed IRA. So one thing that we do here that makes business sense is we lend to self-directed IRAs. And when you lend to a self-directed IRA, it has to be a non-recourse loan. They cannot personally guarantee the loan. Now, as a business decision, what we figured out is, sure, we'll do it. We're just going to reduce our LTV. So let's say we lend $40,000 on a $100,000 asset to a 401k. That's probably safer than lending up to our max of $65,000 to a borrower with a personal guarantee. That extra equity cushion makes our risk exposure work. So think through that, because that's a good niche, because a lot of people don't do non-recourse loans. So at the right LTV, it makes sense. Prepping loans for funding, get preliminary information, loan apps, call and emails, due diligence docs. We have all this. Well, we have all the document sets, but then when you reach out to the borrowers, you get them to fill out your loan application. You ask them to send in pictures, contracts, leases, financials, all important stuff to make a decision. We'll give you this, the loan agreement and the lending intent and estimated use of funds. We have that. We have an origination software that we coded through Google Docs that you get access to, that will give you all kind of, our job is to give you as much free value as possible and give you all this stuff at the workshop. So putting the entire loan together for closing, setting proper expectations with the borrowers, with the lenders. Setting that expectations is the most important thing, because if you tell somebody that, they're going to, they need $29,000 to close and they need $30,000 to close, sometimes they get pissed off. If you tell somebody they need $35,000 to close, but they only need $30,000 to close, and they're happy. So think through that a little bit. Going through the closing and the title of everything, the HUD, the title commitment, just making sure you fully understand all of this. Loan documentations, the lender package, the guarantee, the deed of trust. A lot of these are proper or state specific. Title company working with an attorney, obviously the post-closing and the loan servicing side. As you've probably seen on some of the videos, is like, you don't just want to broker these loans. The purpose of this is to raise capital and be the lender, lend it out yourself, make a servicing fee on these. And being as a servicer and making the servicing fee, you have to do all these things, but you need to know what you're doing. Post-closing the files, organizing your loan files, proper loan servicing software. We use something called the mortgage office, but there's a lot of different ways to service loans, cheaper solutions. Excel spreadsheet even works starting out, just to get a few loans and some money in the door. How to collect payments, how to monitor your taxes, insurance. Obviously, that's one of the most important things. The way you really lose and get yourself in trouble in this business is fraud, not staying up to date with taxes and insurance. And that's the majority of it. Obviously, if you make a bad investment decision, but those are key things. Setting up your trust or escrow accounts, your payoff statements. issuing 1098s and 1099s to borrowers and lenders, initiation collections and foreclosures. I mean, I know this looks like it's a lot of stuff, and it is a lot of stuff, but like, it's not the hardest business model. It's brain, it's it's not brain surgery. It's just important to understand all these things. Foreclosure, default processes, there's judicial and non-judicial states. What's the process for each? For instance, in the state of Virginia, it's super easy for us to foreclose. It's a quick timeline. When we lend in Maryland or like Pennsylvania, it's a longer timeline. And again, we have to take that as a risk precaution up front when we lend, knowing that. How to deal with somebody who's in default and they file bankruptcy, when you want to go after a judgment, bunch of software technology stuff. A lot of the tech that we go over is servicing stuff, the Google origination software that we have that we're giving you, how to set up your internet or your CRM marketing stuff, either through MailChimp, Constant Contact, Infusionsoft. There's a ton of them. So if you're familiar with one, I'd stick with that. If not, we'll give you some recommendations. Understanding how to build some websites, WordPress, ClickFunnels. Happy to share any website themes with you and give you sites on that. So that's kind of it. And, this is 2 full days of a lot of stuff, and like I said up front, a lot of it's marketing. Marketing solves all problems. When you have a lot of opportunities that are in the door, most of your problems go away because you have different deals to choose from. One thing that really sets us apart from a lot of the other lenders is, let's say a lender 1 week gets 5 good opportunities, or 5 opportunities, not good, 5 opportunities. Typically, they got to fund 1 or 2 of those. On our end, we try to get as many opportunities in the door. We get about 1,000 inquiries every month, and that turns into about 25 closed loans, and about half of those closed loans were a repeat borrower to begin with. And the reason why is I want as many opportunities as possible and cherry pick the best of the best ones. And we'll always fund whatever good deal fits our mold. We've created a mold. We've created a strategy. We know what works. After doing close to 2,000 loans, these are just widgets in and out of deals. They're all very, very similar. They either fit or they don't fit. So hopefully you found this helpful. This is the Hard Money Business Outline that we're going to go through at our upcoming workshop. Any questions related to this, or if you have not already registered for the workshop, make sure you apply, and we'll see if it's a good fit. Thanks again.